Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I will see you in my dreams.
I didn't really hit that note when I was trying.
Oh, man. My name's Eric Freeman. They call me the Blue Ridge Boy, and I've been homeless for 8 years. But as far as being homeless goes, I have tried above and beyond to become something, you know. I'm not trying to be rich and famous. I just want to be remembered, you know, for what I have to offer. Everything that I encounter that makes me feel a certain type of way, I try to write a song about it. And I only play what I live.
My name is Victoria. I go by Little Bit, and I've been homeless for 5 years.
Why do they call you Little Bit?
Because I'm short.
Nobody accepted us because we were homeless. So we felt unloved, scared because we had nowhere to go, hungry almost every day because we couldn't get enough money to get food, or we would get food but not enough to last all day.
What's the hardest thing about being homeless?
People looking at you like you got a disease, like you can catch homelessness, like by just talking to you or looking at you.
It's tough being out there alone in the cold, having to fend to get something eaten every day, figure out if you're even going to be able to eat, or if you're going to end up in jail because you're sleeping at a church, or being somewhere you're not supposed to be because you have nowhere to be, or being judged because you're there on the streets, because they don't know what your story is. They assume you're just an addict or, you know, something negative, instead of actually getting to know somebody first or asking.
My name is Eric, and I've been homeless for a year. COVID has affected so many levels of society. I mean, not only the country, the world. You lose your job, then you lose your home, and then you lose your significant other. You spiral into, now you're destitute, homeless, hungry, and don't have access to your family because you can't pay a phone bill. Where are you gonna eat today? I don't know. You know, I mean, when you're asked, you know, where are you gonna lay your head tonight? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a funny thing to say until you're in it. The unknown is a trip. And then you add the rain and snow on top of it. I wouldn't want anybody to go through this, man. I wouldn't wish this upon anybody.
Have you ever been dirt poor? You know what I'm saying? Have you ever lived a life like I live? I mean, I grew up with no running water in my home, an outhouse, you know. We'd have to heat water on top of a stove into a galvanized pan and take a bath. That's how I grew up. I had to be a grown man, you know. I was a grown man by the time I was 10 years old because I had to take care of my sisters because my mother would be drunk, or the house was full of infidelity, really bad. My older sister, Brenda, she has a scar on her face right here on the left side. My mother was so bad in an addiction from alcohol and infidelity until she took a hot straightening comb and stuck it to her face. For real. I mean, I've had a horrific life coming up. I was also in a vehicle with my mother when she and my stepfather got into a fight from him hitting her and beating her, to whereas a gentleman picked her up and made her have sex with me in the car at gunpoint. I had to live that down for it took me a long time to get over that. A long, long time.
My life has been really rough. My dad was abusive, and my mom really tried her best to raise us right. And it was hard having that abusive family member in there, and also the fact that she didn't want to be alone, and it took her a while to leave him. And after that, we moved, and she met my stepdad, and he was an amazing dad.
Really?
Like he raised us and treated us like his actual kids, even though we weren't, and I felt loved more than I had ever felt loved. Because before, all I felt was rejected because all I got was beat. Bruises all over me by my dad for no reason. After my stepdad died in a car wreck, went on his way to work because he fell asleep. Because he'd been doing double shifts, 2 jobs, trying to provide for my brothers to, keep things afloat. It hit me so hard because he was there for me when I really needed a father figure and needed somebody to be there for me and love me the way my actual real dad didn't.
So, what was it like growing up?
I had a great childhood, great family, still do. It was just my mom and I till I was 8, and then my mom remarried and he raised me, so I can consider him my dad. My dad was a neuropsychologist. My mother's amazing. My father's passed away. I'd like to think everything positive about me, if there's what there is, it's all my mother. The caring, the giving, the loving, the outreach, that's her. I went to Wilmington College for my medical assistance degree in cardiology and radiology and phlebotomy and all that comes with it. I did that at Little Rock, and I worked at the Arkansas Heart Hospital. I accomplished more than I could have ever dreamed of as a kid. My dad, he fell real ill with his heart condition and whatnot, and so my mom was telling me what was going on, and then my aunt was calling me, and ultimately they wanted me to move back and look after my dad. I could come home, do all his blood work. My mom was still working. He was home alone. He would have somebody there, or he would have to be put somewhere where somebody, and that wasn't gonna fly. So I left and came home and looked after my dad till he passed away. And then found out that my state board didn't transfer from Little Rock to North Carolina, and I'd passed the due date and would have had to go through all of it all again. That's, my job, I wasn't licensed in North Carolina, only Arkansas. Anyway, I got to spend time with my dad that I wouldn't have had before, and mentally, he according to his physician, he probably lived 2 or 3 years longer than he would have just on the mental side of things and depression. Because he didn't have to go to a facility, he could still go out and chip golf balls in the yard, and he had somebody around that he could tool around with. And we got to spend more time that we really didn't have when I was a kid, when he was at work all the time.
It was something else growing up. I remember there was times when we didn't have anything to eat in the house, many days, or going to the EBT welfare office or whatever, getting the big blocks of cheese back in the day. That's how it was. My stepdad, he treated my mother like dirt, and was in return from him treating her like dirt. She had nobody to throw it on but the weakest link, the children. So then that affected us. I mean, many days I woke up with the house trash, her with black eyes and stuff, and it took a lot away from me. And my mother put a butcher knife to my throat when I left home. But then I had to make my own way after that. soul. Yeah, deep down in my soul. Well, now, deep down now, but will I be deep down when I'm old?
I ran from my mom's house because she didn't approve of the guy I was dating at the time. So it was my own fault I was on the streets. And by the time I figured out it was my own fault, I had no way back. It's really dangerous out there. Survival of the fittest. We all fight to survive. No, we do whatever it takes to survive, no matter what it is. So there was a lot of violence, a lot of killing, a lot of overdosing.
So being a woman alone on the streets, what's that like?
Scary. Kind of lonely. Especially on here, you know there was a woman that was found behind Cheddar's with her hands and feet cut off. And was raped. Yeah, not too long ago, actually.
A woman's body is a temple. No matter what she done, I don't care who she is. I don't care how bad of a Jezebel or whatever she is. She don't deserve it. And, and for people to let it go on, it absolutely just befuddles me. It blows my mind. But any female that I'm hanging around and I see a man touching it, they're through. They can forget it.
And then one of our friends, his name was Razor, was found at the river and shot in the head. It's just kind of sad that we've lost so many friends to these drugs that people are doing nowadays. That fentanyl, a lot of overdoses. Makes me really, really sad. I get quiet, especially when I get upset or start talking about things that really get to me. I don't understand why people still do it knowing it kills people. I don't understand that. Why you would want to do a drug that would kill you. Man, that's really pissing me off. People leaving the freaking caps and needles on the ground. What if some little kid picks it up and got AIDS or HIV from it? I know if I had a kid and my kid picked it up and got AIDS or HIV or something like that, I'd be wanting to kill somebody. I'm gonna throw it in the trash. If you're gonna do something like this, at least be responsible enough to throw it in the trash or put it in a container. Not on the freaking ground where some little kid can pick it up. It's also what also makes us us homeless people look bad is people leaving trash on the ground or their rigs or caps all over the place. No wonder people freaking don't like us. It's this shit. And this. This is ridiculous. There's a trash can right here. Damn. Ugh.
We kept working until the COVID came. In 24 hours, I went from having an apartment and a bed and a kitchen and roommates and come and go as you please and taking care of my responsibilities financially to what do we do now? That night, I stayed underneath the stairwell trying to figure it out, but 4 o'clock, here they saw me. And I left and I went straight to Pritchard Park. I didn't know the rules of the street, where you could crash, where you could lay your head or not. I learned real quick. Next thing you know, there was a crowd following us around because we seemed to be the ones that knew where to go. People used to come and just gather around right here. I mean, to the point where I felt like my last name should have been Cruz or Depp, because everybody came and gathered around right here. Yeah, it was crazy. People would come just gather around and just want to know what we've got to say, or what time, where's food, where can we get jackets, So we would start going Sunday mornings to Haywood Street Church for breakfast. And they had like their, like a linen room, linen closet, whatnot, thrift shop. And we would get as much as we could, jacket-wise, clothes, underwear, whatever, and come bring it right back here for those who couldn't get to the church to eat breakfast. But wheelchairs, handicapped, or whoever just needed one and wasn't comfortable going in to the church because maybe they're new in the street. They don't know anybody. They're ashamed. They're embarrassed. We were too at one time. And then I went, no, you're not doing this to me, world. You're not taking away my character. And I'll get their character back. And that's kind of, we've actually been called the Robin Hoods of Pritchard Park, which I don't know, but funny.
So right here is where we had our tent. This is where we had our tent at. Person over there that she has passed away. She overdosed. A couple of our friends stayed over there. Like 4 or 5 people stayed over there, and then like 6 people stayed over on that side, that end. The stores that were closed down, we'd sleep like, these things, we'd sleep like right here on one of these. Over there, in between the trees and the wall, that's where we used to stay. Our tent was kind of sideways like that and kind of on the edge of the hill. It was kind of scary. Hey Guppy, how are you doing? How are you?
How you doing, dude?
Hey baby, how you doing? How you doing, Mama? You staying warm? I can bring you another jacket from my place. Alright, I got you. Do you need a pillow too?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Alright, I got you.
The good stories are, there's so many more than negative. It's amazing what you can do when you're up against a wall. There's that phone number. This dude, he hadn't talked to his family years, and his brother lived in Greenville. Fisher we called him Fish, his last name was Fisher, but I somehow found his brother through work and got him in contact with each other, and I couldn't find a pen to write down his number and name. But Fish had a Bowie knife, and I carved his brother's number into the bench so he could call him. Brother thought they had lost each other 30 years. Now they're in contact. Now he's got an apartment. He moved in last week. He cried for 2 days when he talked to his sister, and just joyful. It was wonderful to be able to do that. And we did it from right here, the bench. One of my musician buddies, Eric Freeman, his spot was on the other side of those rocks where he would play guitar. And I could speak to him through my eyes. And there was another guy named Black that he went by. I won't say he'd kill me if I said his real name. But we could cover this whole park and just keep an eye on things and make sure everything was low-key, nobody was in trouble, the tourists were fine. And just keep an eye on the 3 different parts of our triangle here without actually having to be verbal about it and just nod our head.
I'm going to Kansas City, here I come. Go on, Kansas City, here I come. Got crazy women, I'm gonna
I can tell you the Parks and Rec Department don't come through here as much as they did because we keep up with the garbage now. We keep it pristine. We know our situation, but we still treat it like we're at mom and dad's and we're 12. You know, try to keep up. Where we were at, the way we tried to keep up with our own little area, so you drop a piece of paper, get it, because it's not staying there. That's just the way we were. We all did it, and we didn't get on to each other. We didn't have to. This is what you did. That was yours. It's yours. Pick it up. We would walk around and pick up here, and that's how I got to know the Parks and Rec Department was here. Parks and Rec Department showed up on our behalf. The Asheville Police Department from the Oakley area showed up on our behalf, on our side, to represent that this place doesn't have needles everywhere. We've never arrested anybody down here. We've not picked up trash down here. They do it.
And the homeless people usually look out for each other. We're like a big family. We might fight and call each other names, but when it comes down to it, we're there for each other. Hello, it's a cute dog. You're welcome.
I love people. I love socializing. I'm a social being. Making somebody smile. That's my goal every day, is to make at least one person smile.
Hello, cute dog.
We're not any different than y'all, just because we were on the streets.
You care a lot about other people.
Very much so. Too much, actually. I've been told I trust too easily, which has caused me a lot of damage.
I'm just a lonely blues man, traveling in the world. They want this something they ain't never had. My mother choked to death and died. My mother died when I was 35. And I went to my stepdad's house one day, they was playing poker. And I'm like, I have something to tell you. I said, I despise you for what you did to the family. You took a lot away from me that I can never get back. And I just want you to know how much it hurts me. But you know what? I'm broken. And I broke down and started crying right there because I said, do you know I have to walk through this world alone searching for something that you didn't let me have? And I gave him a hug. I said, I love you and I'll see you. I walk through this world right now, bro, just that I see millions of people. I smile, but you know what? I'm still by myself. So fucking broken, dog. I mean, I'm not broken anymore, but just to come up out of some shit.
Resiliency. The people out here in the street, it's unbelievable. You gotta get back up. You gotta keep going. I found that the stepping stones to getting forward are the people you help. They're the guide. They're the path. You know? Without them, you would be stuck in mud. I've seen a lot that needs to be changed, worked on. Yeah. I'm trying to fix it. It's way beyond anything I could do. You know?
You know, when you're on the street, it's almost impossible to get out of that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because you're more worried about taking care of what you're gonna eat and where you're gonna sleep that night and whether you're gonna be alive the next day.
But now that you've been able to get some help and support, it's going to be possible for you to get a job and
Have a life, have kids, live. I'm excited but scared at the same time. It's overwhelming.
Deep down in my soul, deep down in my soul. Well, I'm deep down now, but I'll be deep down when I'm old.
I've been given an opportunity to do more for others. Somehow I'm counted on. I feel like there's a lot of people I need to look after. I have been blessed, I think, by this whole thing, because it sure changed me in a lot of different ways. My character is the same. People have shared so many stories with me that I never dreamed that I would ever hear, and there may have been a time where I wouldn't have given a shit, and now I'm grateful. The kindness well over exceeds, it really does what the negative is. It's amazing.
I want to help people. I've always loved helping people. And for some reason, people come to me and tell me things without me even asking them to. So they open up to me instantly for no reason. I guess it's just my calling to help others with their emotional problems. So I want to be a drug counselor and a peer support. That way it gives me the experience I need to be able to help the people that I want to. And then I'm going to work up from there and get to where I want to be.
It's like, I don't know how I can help, but my arms are wide open to anybody that wants to come talk to me, whatever I can do for you. I just want the community as a whole to, like, wherever I live at, to know if one person has a problem, and if we care enough about that person or whatever, let's just come together and try to help them.
There's so many different reasons we're out here, but nobody should be shunned and shamed like we are. Nobody deserves that. I don't care. No one deserves to be talked to like we do. I mean, if you don't have to lend a helping hand, you don't have to make a sandwich for somebody, but you also don't need to spit on us. That's what gets me the most. We were all made in, God's image, right? He wore flip-flops too, from what I understand. We're all the same when you boil it down to it. We've got to come together and not be frowned upon when we're looked at,
Just think about how you're affecting others before you act, and see how the person really is before you judge them. Don't judge a person by how they look. Appreciate everything that I have, no matter how small it is, because everything matters. Every little thing you have matters, because in an instant it can be gone.
I've had a real good life in the scheme of things. I got a long way to go, but I have less regrets than I have more joy, things that I did the right way.
I want to have at least 2 kids, at least 1 girl, 1 boy. Originally, I wanted to have 4 kids, 2 boys, 2 girls, but I'm being more realistic.
I've met more genuine people, believe it or not, since I've been out in this situation, that I'm grateful that I've met, that I never met on the outside of the fence, as we call it.
Such a beautiful day out here in the sunshine. Yeah, man. Glorious. Such a glorious day it is. It's been a long time since I've been able to smile, you know. Smile properly. Everybody have that fake grin, you know that. I'm just strumming on this tune. It's because it makes me feel good when I'm walking slow. It's a good walking beat. Wake up in the morning, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Okay, this way. Waking up in the morning, don't know what I'm gonna do. Till I get out of bed, put on my clothes, don't know what to do. Ain't got no woman, no girl. Improv too, making it up as I go. Got nothing planned. I feel good today, bro.